Hey guys, this is Iggy with Dragon Blogger. So today I'm going to be showing you how to install the Raijintek Themis Evo. Looks to be good, I don't know just yet, but first off, I'm going to have to take this guy out of here, my Arctic Cooling Freezer 7 Rev Pro. It's been pretty good, but I've had it for maybe 8 years, and well, it's getting a little old. This is my Thermaltake Suppressor F51 case. It's a great case, and it has a cool feature that I can just flip the case around, and well, I can just put the back plate for the CPU heatsink back here. But you know, some of you don't have, you know, the luxury of an open backplate in your case. So for those guys, I'm just going to go ahead and take the motherboard out of the case. Hey guys, so I've already taken the board out. And when you have a case that lends itself to good cabling, you know, you can just essentially take the board out. And when you're done, you put it back in and all the cables will fall back into place. You can see here I put the SATA cables. I labeled them all, you know, bundle 1, bundle 2, bundle 3, bundle 4 with some blue tape and a Sharpie. So anyway, enough about the case. Now, put this back here. Now we need to focus on taking this heatsink off of the board. So let's start with that real quick. Alright, so now we're going to take the thermal paste off of the CPU. Just get some isopropyl alcohol, dab it on a paper towel, and just take it off. Still some on the back, of course, and that's okay. I have more than one paper towel. Want to clean it as well as you can. You don't really need the alcohol. You know, the cleaner it is, the better it'll cool. So I mean, it'll work just rubbing it off with a dry paper towel, rubbing the thermal paste off the CPU, I meant, not rubbing one out. And so, alright, that's pretty clean. Alright, so we're good there. Just going to put this aside. Alright, so we're going to keep, of course, the CPU in there. So now we're going to go ahead and put the back plate on the back of the board. Flip it over, you'll see there's a little notch here. And that is to put the screw for the Intel 1150. You might have a different one, but for me, it's an Intel 1150. Put it in here, and you see how it matches perfectly right there. So it's not going to spin while you're screwing it in. So that's a great idea on their part. Flip it over and you just put your finger like that to hold the screw. And then you can just flip your board. And then again right here, there'll be 4 here, here, and here. We can just slide it right in here. Alright. And so we have one in place. And now we're going to go ahead and grab one of these guys. See here? And we'll just slide it in and screw it all the way down. Not too tight, because we still need the other 4, but just enough so that, you know, my hands are gone from there, just to hold things in place. Alright, so now that this guy's in, I'm going to go ahead and flip the board again. And we'll just put one right here. Alright, and you can move this around so you can see when I move that little screw moves around, but while I'm screwing it in, it's going to be in place again because of these little ridges. And the reason I say to not screw it in all the way tight is so that you can move them around and they can kind of fall into place as you're screwing the other 3, now 2 in. Alright, and we'll do the next one. Toss it in this hole, and you see how it doesn't line up perfectly, but because we didn't screw it in very tight, we can move it. Alright, put my finger there, flip it over again. You know, mind you, when you're doing this, it'll probably be a little bit easier, but I'm doing it just so I can show you everything I'm doing close up. Alright, and flip it over again. We have that one screwed in, and now we're just going to drop the other one. By this point, we have this one, and this one screwed in. The fourth one will be almost perfectly in spot, in line, and that's the first one. We can begin to screw in really tight. And again, we're not going to screw in incredibly tight, maybe just tighter than we have it already, because we don't want to damage the board. Screw it in too tight, you damage the board, and well, a heatsink is going to be kind of worthless for you, because with a messed up board, you're not going to get much heat. So anyway, unless it catches on fire, but that's a different story. So now I've just gone back and I've tightened them all up. So now we can get on to the next step. Alright, for our next step, we're going to be adding these mounting clips right over here. Right over here. So what we're going to be doing is, first off, you'll notice there's a little groove right over here. So we're going to be putting that outward, facing out. Alright, you see how it lines up there pretty well, even with the ram and everything in its way. Alright, so then we're going to dump the other one in there too. Just, oops. Remember, keep this facing out, away from the CPU. Alright, so we're going to be putting those in place with these 4 metal nuts. But in this case, these 4 metal nuts will hold these in place. And we don't need a doctor for this one. So we'll just screw this in. And you don't really need a screwdriver for these. These just, you can use your finger or your fingers. Alright, just put them in place. Alright, there you go. Nice and tight. Again, probably don't want to do it too tight, but it's pretty good. Alright. Now we're going to be using the thermal paste that it comes with. I don't know how good this is. I've asked Raijintek what kind of thermal paste it is. As you can see, it's unlabeled. They call it a form of Dow Corning. I'll give you the model number in the review. I don't know how good it is, but with my benchmarking results, we'll find out together. So they have a little cut right here, so you can just tear it open. It's going to pour out of here when you tear it open, so just make sure for right now. I'm going to be doing it on camera, so I don't want it to get thermal paste all over the board. I want to get it to on top of the CPU only. And I don't know what the consistency is, so I'll go ahead and tear it open here. Alright, so doesn't look very liquidy, which is a good thing. I'm going to want to keep it very still, so what I'm going to do is just bring it out like that so you can see it a little bit better. Alright, and let's see what, before I even put it there, let's see what the consistency is. Alright, I'm just just going to put a little bit right here. Ah, okay. So there you go. You can see it there. It's regular thermal paste. It's not very liquidy, so that's a good thing. And so I'll just put a little bit right here. Try to keep it towards the center. It's not perfect. Oh, it's a lot. So we'll just take some off. Little tiny bit. It's a little bit better. Still feels like a lot. That's a lot, but it's not too bad. Alright, so you can see what I got there. It's in the center. So when I put this right over here, that's going to go ahead and spread that thermal paste out around the whole CPU. Now I am going to be removing this plastic here, which protects it so you don't get your greasy and grubby fingertips all over there. So I'm going to be having my fan right here. Let me go ahead and turn the board. I'm going to have it right here blowing air back here. Back here is of course the back of my case. So it's going to have a fan already here exhausting air. This is just going to keep everything like that. I could always have the fan back here because of the Thermaltake suppressor case. It has fans that I have pointing exhausting air out, which would of course, you know, pull some of the heat off of the video card, but the case is cool as on its own. I could have it like this as well, which will be pulling heat, like this will be blowing cold air on top of the video card, which will be pretty good. But then the way I have the fans on the top of the case, they'll kind of be working against each other. I could have it here, which could be sucking air, hot air away from the video card or off of the video card, exhausting it through the top of the case. But I'm going to keep it the way I said first. The fan right over here, blowing air directly out the back of the case. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and lay this down right over here. Let me give you a better angle. And by the way, so the way I put these down is going to be reliant on how you put this in place. So they have this little bar right here that goes just like that. So when I lay it here, you can see that's going to align perfectly and I could screw it in. Now if we put it like this, you would have to put these little brackets over here instead of like that. Just wanted to show you that real quick. Alright, so again, I'm going to go ahead and put this right over here. You can see how it has that little notch right here, two little notches, and that's for these little notches to fall into place and just hold it in place. Alright, and we can just lay it down. And let me turn it around so you can see it a little bit better. So you can see right here. Alright, so there we're going to be using this screw, of course one on each side. This is where having a really good magnetized screwdriver works out in your advantage. So just drop it right in here. And we're going to screw it in. We're not going to screw it in very tight because remember, we have to screw on the other side too. We don't want it to be lopsided, then that making us not being able to screw it in. So now I'm going to turn the board around. Let me go ahead and take this ram out so that you can have a better view of what I'm doing. All right, and now we'll go ahead and put the second screw in. Now, since we have the other one already screwed in, we can tighten this one as much as we can. All right, and now go ahead, turn the board around, and we'll tighten the other side. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and turn it around for right now and just put the ram back into place. All right, and I'm going to push everything back a little bit first. And before you attempt to put the fan in, you'll see right here, just in case you don't know, there's two little arrows, one down here saying the air is going to be going down and the fan's going to be spinning like that, pointing this way. So I just wanted to show you that real quick. So which means I'm going to go ahead and put the fan like this so that it is right here. It's kind of going to be sitting right on top of the ram. And the way that this fan is installed actually lends itself very well to ram that's pretty tall. In this case, my ram isn't that tall. I know some of you might have ram that, you know, could be that tall, but the way this works actually works out very well, and I'll show you now. All right, since we're going to be putting the fan like this, we're going to want to grab these anti-vibration rubbers. And then we're going to be sliding them through here and just kind of pulling them into place. Alright, so you can see here, and I'll grab another one so I can show you how that worked. So when I pulled it through here, you can see how this little part of it slid in, keeping it from, you know, you can hold it like this. I'm not holding on to the fan at all, and it's not going to fall out. So I'll do the same thing here and just pull it. Alright, that's it. And I'll do the same thing for all four, or now two. There you go. That's it. That was that quick, that easy. So now, turn the board around, show you how this works. Alright, so here we can see there's like a little hole here. And so the way that's going to work, these little anti-vibration rubbers just fall right through there. You have to push them a little bit, but they're going to be on the fan, so that'll give it everything it needs. Then it slides into place, slides in very well. So I'll just take that out for now and show you with the fan itself. Alright, so I am going to be putting these right down here, same way I did it on the top, just on the bottom. Go figure. Alright, so just sliding these up. Alright, and now, same way I did it for the other ones, slide it through here and just pull on the nipple. Same thing over here. Alright, see, that's perfect there. And now we're just going to go ahead and do the same thing up here. Just drop it in place. As I showed you before, alright, so everything is perfect in there. You can see that here. Now I'm just going to go ahead and put my ram back in. Can't get it in right now. So I'm just going to pull that out. The way they did it lends itself very well to this. Just go ahead and slide my ram in place. Moving my fan out of the way temporarily. Alright, so now you see there's going to be a little problem with the fan, but that's okay because of the way they did it. I just pull on that nipple a little bit, lift it up a little bit, lift this one up a little bit too. Alright, and now I'll just raise this a little tiny bit. Alright, and just do the same thing up here if I didn't already. There you can see it's sitting right on top of my memory, and however high your memory might be, you can just raise it like I did down here. I had to raise it maybe 1/4 of an inch, a little tiny bit, but you can see I did it just well. And because I have these little anti-vibration rubbers, you know, you're not going to hear the whining on here. Everything's going to be fine. So separating the fan from the actual heatsink, there's that little piece right here. So this fan will never touch the heatsink, causing vibration. Alright, so I'm pretty much done. Of course, all I need to do is plug this guy in. I'll do that for you real quick. Right over here. That's it. So now I just got to put everything back over here, and because the way I took everything off and I cabled well, that's going to take me maybe another minute or two, but I'll save you guys the headache. You don't need to watch me. And well, you'll have a review coming very soon. Again, this is for the Raijintek Themis Evo. Alright guys, see you later. Iggy with Dragon Blogger out.